Well, thanks for all for joining us. This is another episode of Mastering BakeSmart. We are calling this one the Bells and Whistles 2, as well as Customer Retention and Loyalty Preview. Today, we're going to make our way through all of the new features that we've rolled out since our last Bells and Whistles episode, which was mid-May. Here at BakeSmart, we always are taking feedback, taking customer requests from you all, and we do our best to take those in, run them up the ladder as it is to Jared and the development team, and then they're constantly pushing small pushes and large pushes. And sometimes those small pushes, those small developments sort of get lost behind big feature pushes like our recent e-commerce facelift and our products version 2 facelift. And so we just like to take a couple of moments to point out these little time savers in the app that really do a huge service to you end users in saving time and just making the app function more in the way that your individual businesses function. So we're going to dive right in. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to ask that you hold questions to the end. Shelly is moderating that chat. Her and Jared will do their best to answer any tech questions that you have, and then we'll open the floor at the end of our call today. Okay, I'm going to go kind of rapid fire through each of the tabs in the system, just talking about the new features that we have, and then we'll do a deep dive into our loyalty program and talk about customer retention and how BakeSmart helps you service your customers and keep them coming back and spending more money inside your stores. Okay, so everyone should be pretty familiar with the home screen now. Once you log in as an admin or manager user, this is going to be the landing page that you've got here. Home screen is moderately unchanged. You're going to have everything that's getting picked up today. You can see here that I am filtering to Broad Ripple, which is one of my 2 locations. I can also look at downtown and clear that out to look at everything. Pretty straightforward here with pickup, pay in full.
Heather,
yes.
You're not sharing your screen.
Of course I'm not, because that is just my MO. Here we go, folks. Let's try it again. If you've been in my onboarding with me, you know that I've done this several times with each of you. So getting back, here's your home screen. All of that stuff I said, apply it to what you're looking at now. So you can use your area filter here for each of your locations if you're a multi-location user. It's just going to give you each customer's orders for each location. The reason why we do have this here is a question that's come up in onboarding a lot lately, is because if you are an employee at the Broad Ripple location and somebody calls and says, hey, I'm here to pick up my order, or I'm coming to pick up my order, and you don't see it, you can very quickly check downtown and see if maybe it was ordered to your other location. Okay, that's just a little tip and trick here on our homepage. One of the newest things that we've done is just create a same-day pickup receipt printer now for same-day orders. If you are one of our e-commerce customers, we have an e-commerce solution called same-day ordering, which does allow you to place in same-day order, your customers to place a same-day order online. Previously, those same-day orders would populate this screen here, and you'd have to come in here, pull the order, print it. But now, underneath your settings for e-commerce and same-day orders, we have sales receipt and kitchen printers that you can assign, so that anytime someone does place a same-day e-commerce order, the sales receipt is going to print up and your kitchen ticket is going to print up if it has a kitchen printer item associated with it. Same goes for any coffee drinks that you sell same-day as well. You can also set your same-day preferences here. Those have not changed, but this new printer queue here has, and being able to kind of come in here and see those same-day orders as well. It's just kind of a neat little new feature. Okay. Underneath our reports tab, moving right along, moderately unchanged from our last big push. I know last time we talked about the summaries as a new feature. If you look at our create new report button, you will see that we now have a delivery report, which is great. So if you are a bakery that offers delivery, whether it's wholesale or wedding cakes, or even just retail delivery in your neighborhood, you can now run a delivery report based on those orders. It is going to automatically set itself to fulfillment date, fulfillment time, and customer, because that's the information that we feel is important to create a delivery report. You can run it by detail or summary. Let's go ahead and run it for this last month here. Generate that. What's going to pop up on this delivery report is probably one of the coolest things that BakeSmart has done in a while, is it's going to give you the Sort date, so this is for June because we ran it for last month. June 1st, we have a 6 a.m. for Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew and another 6 a.m. for Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew. 2 separate locations. You can see the address to which they're going to just below the name of the business. You also have the contact phone number right at the top. So what I would use this for is like a driver cover sheet. If I'm giving my drivers every invoice or every order that they need to go to bring to our customers, I'm putting this report on top so they know where they're going next and when it needs to be there. You also have a received by line here in which the customer can print and sign and write the time at which they received it. And you also have a spot here to tell you how many boxes you're expecting. For me, when I was doing my wholesale accounts, I very quickly would take a stock of the boxes that I had going to Auntie Hetty's, for example, and it was always Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew 6. And I wrote that on every box, so I knew that there were 6 boxes. The downside to that is it was kind of ugly. And so here you're able to kind of say, hey, driver, you've got 6 boxes, or hey, recipient of this delivery, you're looking for a quantity of 6 boxes. Okay, you can also very quickly from inside the app reference that order by clicking here. It's going to bring you right to that customer order. Okay, but driver report, super cool. You can definitely get in there and edit it and play with it. Same feature as being able to save it as well as schedule it. So if your driver comes in every day at 10 p.m. to start running deliveries overnight, you can save this report and set it to print or set it to email to your driver at 10 p.m. so that it's fresh and ready to go with the most up-to-date information when they get there. Okay, so pretty cool on that front as far as reports go. Another new kind of and seldomly looked at report that we have is going to be the drawer reconciliation. We did talk about this during our last feature report, our bells and whistles episode, but we do want to point out on here, and I don't think we've got a POS associated with this, is that we have added a tax breakout line on this drawer reconciliation report. Before, tax was kind of lumped in, but a lot of you have requested that you want to see tax specifically, especially for compliance reporting on your drawer reconciliation. So now there is a way that we have broken tax out to show you the sales tax collected on sales that you ran through your drawers and your POSs. You can also get to that report or another version of that report here under transactions and registered drawers. It's actually going to bring you directly to the POS drawers that you have. I don't have any POS drawers, not since March, assigned to my account, but you can see that they're here. You can pull them up and it's going to give you that same Z report that you run at the end of your day. That way, if you run it without paper in your printer, you can quickly access this Z report and kind of get an idea of what's happening in your store. Okay, so that's going to take care of our delivery report, the new tax addition to our Z report. We've also started making an option for you to be able to group taxes in a single column on different reports. That way, if you've got multiple taxes across a variety of cities or states or compounding taxes, if you've got an entertainment tax and a sales tax, you can smash it all into one and just get one tax number instead of having to look at each of the taxes that you set up. Okay? Another couple of quick things that I want to show you, which is going to be in your ordered items report. This is a big change for lots of folks who have started using our bundled products feature. We're going to run this ordered items report by item, fulfillment date. I want to look at the detailed version. Let's go ahead and run this for last month and generate. So what you're seeing here is the detailed view of your ordered items report. It's going to be broken down by days of the month, starting with the 1st. And so what we're looking for is we're going to go down through here and look for a bundle. Apologies, I should have had this preset for you. But what we find in a detail versus a summary view report is that the bundles are oftentimes, it's going to tell you that you've got a dozen donuts bundle, and it's going to list each of your dozen donuts individually on a report, and it was frequently causing confusion for production teams. We fixed that by giving you a couple of options. The first is that we're going to make bakery products only, which is going to remove any bundles. And for those of you who are not familiar with the bundle, what that is a way for you to sell individual products together as a unit. So if you're selling a breakfast tray, for example, and it's made up of 4 muffins and 4 Danish, a breakfast tray is a bundle of those individual products. And so you are now eliminating that bundle from the report and just looking at what the bakers need to produce. on this new version. So pretty cool. Happy to dive into that with anybody if they have any questions. We'll go ahead and place a bundle order and come back and look at this a little later so that you have a good visual to match what we've just talked about. Another request that came through that we listened to and answered was for a way to just very quickly look at what your custom items only are, meaning anything that comes with the decorated ticket. That's going to be your case cakes that you built out as a custom product, or birthday cakes, wedding cakes, any of those things. If you just want to see what is the quantity of custom products that you've got for a particular time frame, in this case last month, you can now filter this report by custom items only. And to signify what a custom item is, it's anything that's going to have a decoration ticket. Okay, so let's generate this report, and it's going to go ahead and pull out anything as it helps itself to this. It's going to pull out anything that isn't. So it's going to pull the multi-grain loaves off. It's going to pull your decorated cookies off. So it's just going to go ahead and generate just those custom items. Okay, it's just another way that we have answered your requests to service the way you guys do your bakeries. We've talked about it before. We understand that bakeries are same but different. Each of you operate your businesses in a way that is unique to you, and we want to try to give you as much flexibility in the software that you have to meet the demands of the way that you service your customers. So here with that report, now we've filtered everything out except for just the custom items that we've got going on. Looks like June 3rd is going to be a busy weekend for us. This is a great tool to see exactly how busy you're going to be on a specific day of the month. It's going to give you a great way to just very quickly add up the custom things you have, so you know if you have to shut down sales or maybe drive customers to something that's a little less decorated in this instance. So pretty cool little feature there underneath reports. Okay. Another feature that we've got underneath report, which is something that we've asked for, and Jared, you might help me find this one. We're looking for the tax exempt customer filter.
That is on the payment report.
Okay, we're going to go to payments here. It's going to be payment date and payment method. We're looking at the detailed view and the payment date. Let's go ahead and look at last week. We can group taxes into a single column, so you're not looking at each of those items. And then down here, you can filter to tax exempt customers only. You can also run a payment report for your wholesale customers and your retail customers. That's going to be e-commerce or app. And then the tax exempt only is a new feature. This is for when you get audited. If you really very quickly need to show why these customers didn't pay sales tax, you can run in here, generate this report, slap it on the counter, and then wave bye-bye to your state comptroller as they leave. But new cool feature, kind of takes the stress out of needing to keep track of those things. In this report, when it does populate with folks, it will list the customer's name, their tax exempt number, and the reason why they're tax exempt, as well as the quantity of sales that they've had with that tax exempt status. So it is exactly what any auditor is going to look at. And it's also just a nice way for you too, when you're doing your account reconciliation and paying your sales tax on the 20th of the month, to go ahead and pull that information up. So pretty cool little trick there. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a peek here. When we are looking at your home screen, we added a new filter in which you can, did we put that here? Fulfillment status. You can look at the different fulfillment status of your orders, and you can look at your payment status as well. Who's partially paid, who's fully paid. Those are features that we've had built in, but is going to go ahead and when you put the filter on here for the week, for example, if I'm looking at a specific time, 8 through 18, it's going to keep those folks filtered by the date and time inside the screen here. Okay, just a new little tweak that we made to our system. Okay, moving right along into our transactions tab. Okay, the difference between your home tab and your transactions tab is clutch. Honestly, your home tab is going to be your quick reference for what's happening inside your store today, as well as your same day orders. Your transactions tab is going to be honestly the hub in which you manage tons of transactions in and out of BakeSmart. Whether it's orders, which are all your future orders, your sales, which are going to be coming from your POS if you're a POS user, invoices if you are a wholesale or invoice customer subscriber, And then your payment requests and image tracking, which comes with Cake Matrix, registered drawers, which is a way for you to check in if you're a POS user, and a new feature that we'll talk about here, which is ACH payments for our wholesale or invoice customers. Okay, so this tab here is doing a ton of work and telling you what's happening inside your store, what's happening with your money, and where are all those different revenue streams coming from. Okay, we've also added a new feature here, and some of you have might noticed on this orders tab, is that these boxes are yellow and it's saying needs review. This was our answer to people wanting to ensure that orders that were coming in through e-commerce, which are, by design meant to be taken without having to take up the labor of a store staff member, or orders that are taken through store staff that maybe kind of need to be looked at, especially if it's a custom order. You can now make a setting that requires these orders to be reviewed. Currently, it's cosmetic only. If you don't review these items, they will still hit your production sheet if they're in order. If it's a quote, we all know that those quoted orders will not hit production. But if it's an open order and it says need review and you don't get around to reviewing it, it will still go through your production. But in order to review this, that's all we want to do is click on it. It's going to take us right to the summary page in which we're like, okay, what is this thing? Everything looks great. I'm going to go ahead and mark that as reviewed. So when I go back to my transactions page, it's now going to tell me this has been reviewed. I can also open it and see, hey, who reviewed this? Order was reviewed by Heather. She went ahead and approved this order to come through. Okay. To get that, we're going to go to our settings, orders, and down here at the bottom, require staff to review incoming orders, and then you can pick which of your incoming orders you want to have reviewed. If you're an e-commerce user, or if you're an inquiry user, so if an order is generated through the inquiry field, you can make sure that that is reviewed independent of being placed in the app. You can also review any wholesale orders that come through because your wholesale customers do have access to a self-maintained customer portal. And so you'll be able to review any orders that they place through the portal as well. Okay, completely up to your discretion. You can set those up. Happy to dive into that with you a little later to make sure that you all understand how that happens. Okay, now for those of you who are saying, why would I want to turn that on? We're so busy, we get 50, 60 orders a day. No problem. We also updated our bulk edit button. So you want to go ahead and say what's coming up for the next 7 days. Man, there's a bunch of things to review. I took those orders. I know they're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and click this box up here, and that's going to do a few things. Historically, it's given us the option to print an order, print a deco ticket, print a board slip, or print a packing slip. But now you see that we also have setting the status, which is mark it as fulfilled, right, which we'll talk about here shortly. Mark it as ready, which is marking products that are done, complete, ready to go for pickup, or marking it as reviewed, which...
Reviewed is not a bulk action.
Oh, it's not. Thank you, Jared.
No.
I thought it was.
Because you got to go in there and review it.
Got it. You're right. So Jared said it's not reviewed. That makes sense. That tracks with the behavior of that item. But if you are not in the habit of picking up your orders when a customer comes through, let's go ahead and jump out of here. Click this, get out of here, please. Boom. If you're not in the habit of picking up your orders as customers come in to get things, for example, Mike Clemens is coming at 8 p.m. tonight. We're actually supposed to deliver this. But if you're not in the habit of saying, hey, this was paid in full and delivered, process payment, mark is delivered. Like if you're not in the habit of doing this, then that's going to impact your production, your accounting, and your customers in several ways. Okay. If it's a pain for you to go through and say, yes, this was picked up, click, 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 you can go to your transactions page, highlight everything for this period of time, and change that status here now as marked fulfilled. Fulfilled does a lot of things. Fulfilled is going to realize your revenue, which is something that we talked about on reporting, right? It's going to move your money from payments taken for future orders into payments taken for orders that left today. It's going to move your taxes around, right? So I know that Taxes are something that we don't want to screw around with. So fulfilling an order, marking something as fulfilled, picked up, delivered is super critical to the functioning of BakeSmart when it comes to your finances. Also, when we pop into our e-commerce customer portal, it's going to clear orders that are future orders out of your customer portal for your customers, right? If we don't mark it picked up, it's going to live there forever saying, hey, this order is ready for you to go at the bakery. Even if they got it because you never marked it out as picked up or delivered, it's still going to show pending in that customer account, which could be confusing, and you would end up fielding tons of phone calls from customers going, I thought I got this. Okay, so that's a nice bulk item that you've got ready there. Mark things ready and mark things fulfilled. You'll also notice here for our wholesale customer users, previously you'd have to go and invoice customers one at a time when you mark delivered. Now you can invoice everybody at the same time. You can print and or email invoices depending on the way you deliver invoices to your wholesale customers. Okay, pretty cool little feature. For those of you who are also looking at this ready box here, I'm going to go ahead and bulk mark all of these things as ready. Okay, it's going to go ahead and say we've marked 5 orders successful as ready, which means that, you know, when Mike Clemens at 8 o'clock, this cake is ready to go, which means we can deliver it whenever. But maybe I want to tell my team, hey, this is in a weird spot. You know, it's in the back walk-in. Cookies are in the deli. So make sure that when you are getting ready to go find this order, you know exactly where it's at. So it's just a little hint. It helps you organize things. This is going to become huge and super handy around the holidays when you're managing 100 orders for the same day. It's just going to help you keep track of things in the bakery. Okay, let's go ahead and review this order now that they say it's ready. We should have reviewed it before they made it ready to make sure all the words were right. Yes, we can mark this as reviewed. It's good to go. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump back to our transactions page. Another item that we want to talk about here for this order is if we open this order and we want to go ahead and view our payments, we've paid cash for this order. This person is like, hey, I never got a receipt, and they're looking for specifically a payment receipt, not an order slip, which we give them, not the delivery slip that we're going to give them, our packing slip, but they want a receipt, a transactional receipt. A new feature here now is that you can either reprint or email that receipt to this customer. So when I print this, it's going to go ahead and say, hey, you want to print this? If I have an attached receipt printer, if I'm a POS user, if I've got one in the bakery, it will print there. That's the setting that I have. I can also print a PDF for this since I don't have a receipt printer, and it's just going to print out just like any other POS cash receipt. So pretty cool new feature there as well. Just another little add-on that we threw on for you. Okay. All right, some other transactional filters that we've got here. Wholesale only is going to filter through your wholesale customers only. Retail and e-commerce are all filters that we've added here to this long bar. And now you can also look at just what needs review. Okay, so if you want to know, hey, did anything new come in? Do I need to check for anything? Let's go ahead and take a peek. I can look at just the needs review filter there. Okay, tons of little things in here as well. Previously, this was a good question from a friend of ours who's been a BakeSmart customer for about 20 years or so, since the beginning. He said, I really want to just be able to filter through and count how many decorated or like custom orders I've got going out today or going out for a specific time. So instead of going to that report that we showed you, which you could filter by decorations, you can come in here and you want to look at all decoration tickets and you want to filter it by not only printed or not printed. I want to look at all of them. And what that's going to do is it's going to do exactly that, which is filter all of your dates by only what it has a decoration, a ticket associated with it, so you can just get a quick decision-making inventory of what custom products you have for a specific time frame. Okay, so it's a pretty cool little feature here. So that's why these episodes are important to do, is because how do you communicate that these cute little things are coming out one off and one at a time? This is the best way that we found to do it. We also will populate our help desk with a lot of these features as they come. Okay, if you find something in the app that we don't explain today, also feel free to reach out to us and ask us, and we'll do our best to jump on and walk through that with you. Okay. Okay, moving right along. Let's go ahead and look at ACH payments. We don't have any set in here. The ACH payments is going to be particular to your wholesale customers. We've got a customers tab split into two, retail customers and wholesale customers. For our wholesale users, let's take a peek at that. This is where you're going to manage your wholesale accounts. We're going to look at Auntie Hetty's Brew and Brew. Open this up. This is remains largely unchanged except for with our bulk payments here. We can now apply a bulk payment, and as long as we've got ACH set up for this customer, which we don't, you can apply that ACH payment. You can set an ACH account for your customer if they're giving you the information. They can also set it up through the wholesale portal themselves. If they're setting up ACH, which is bank-to-bank transfer, through the portal from themselves, you'll get a notification that says you have to approve that you will accept this kind of payment from this customer. Okay, but once that's done, that's a direct transfer. Okay, I do want to say one thing about ACH. Because it is a bank-to-bank transaction that goes through Fiserv, it does take 3 to 5 days for ACH to balance out or hit your bank account, whereas with credit cards and debit cards, it takes 1 to 2 business days, 3 to 5 business days for ACH. So a little bit longer, but it makes sense because they have to make sure the money is good before they take it from their account and put it into yours. Okay. But ACH payments is a great new feature. Your customers, again, can access it through the customer portal. And if you have any questions about the customer portal at all, we do have in the Help Desk Center, we do have a customer portal POV for your customers that you can pull, print, edit it to be branded for your bakery location, and then email out to your customers. It's a how-to guide to help them navigate that portal for your bakery. Okay. What else do we want to talk about underneath transactions? Pretty straightforward for transactions. Let's go ahead and look at another nice time saving. Yes.
Did you show in more filters, did you show that we can now show all of our orders with deco tickets?
Yep, right here. Okay. All orders with deco tickets, and it's only going to display the custom order deco tickets. So pretty cool little feature there. Okay. Underneath our products tab, 2 new boxes that are glaringly obvious and something that was asked about a ton. Underneath our product list in our main product dashboard view, you now see that you've got a e-commerce and a wholesale checkbox. This is going to be your very quick rapid fire way of adding and removing things from e-commerce and adding and removing things from wholesale eligibility. Okay. You still have to, I believe, go to the wholesale menu and add this to the wholesale menu after you make it eligible for wholesale, meaning that if I put this birthday cake available for wholesale, I would still have to go to the wholesale menu and make sure that I added that to the menu of choice that I've developed for my wholesale customers. It's not going to automatically add it to those menus because that would be crazy, but you do have to go ahead. You've marked the eligibility to be added for wholesale, so you would have to go in here and make sure that you're looking down the list, say, hey, there's birthday cake, we recently added it, it is now eligible, and on this wholesale menu. Okay. For e-commerce, this is just the setting for the product level itself. So if apple turnovers is now available for e-commerce, we also have to ensure that the pastries category is also turned on for e-commerce. We're going to do that by going to category, rolling down to pastries, which is hidden in here somewhere. Find it with my eyes. Here it is. And we want to make sure that it is included online. Okay. If we wanted to remove e-commerce, pastries from e-commerce altogether, we would turn this off. And then every product in the pastries category, regardless of its e-commerce status, would also not be available online. So just remember that, is that the category is the gatekeeper for whether or not a product is online. And then you can very quickly go here and make sure that that product is marked available for e-commerce. Okay. Pretty cool little tool. I really like that. I really like that new feature a lot. Okay. Also, and I don't know if this is as important as it is to me as everyone else, but you can see when the last time a product was updated as well as filter. So things that were updated last March 5th, 2025 versus July 8th, 2026. This is no longer the day that the item was added to your database, but last time it was manipulated, opened, or edited. Okay, that way if all of a sudden a price is different on something or there's a decoration missing, you can see that someone was in there, you know, messing around with your product at what date, and so maybe somebody accidentally changed something. So if a product is behaving incorrectly, check that first, and then give us a call and we'll help you fix it. Okay? Another cool thing that is honestly so small but such a huge time change, game changer for time, is when you open up a product inside your production list. If I go to cakes, for example, and open up birthday cake, I now have navigation buttons that are going to help me navigate through each of the products in that category that I'm looking at. Okay, so I can go ahead and hit each of the products in that category. If I go and filter that category down even further to just graduation, that will then change this next and last previous navigation to just that category. And so the navigation buttons are going to respond to whatever filters you have in place for your products. It's really cool, especially when you're going in and changing prices or going in and just, you know, maybe changing images or descriptions of something. So it's a great way to get through all of the products without having to go back and come in and go back and come in. Okay? Pretty decent stuff. Okay, I'm going to break your brains a little bit when we talk about templates. Okay? Templates are the rules around the products that your production team creates for your components, right? Meaning, let's go ahead and look at your custom cakes. These are the sizes of cakes that you offer, and these are the rules and selections that you offer in this size. Okay? You are now able to look at your 8-inch 3-layer cake, which offers these flavors, frostings, and fillings. You are now able to create a product directly from this component. So if I'm introducing, you know, a red velvet cake with chocolate chips in it, and I'm only doing it in an 8-inch size, I can create a component from this. I'm going to change it to red velvet with chocolate and call it the 8-inch size. Put a description, give it a price. I do want to make it available online. An order is not required, so it will populate my POS. And I want to throw it my cake category. And why not? Let's give it a picture. This one's super cute. It's Baby Groot and Joy. Okay, you can also manipulate your tax very quickly in here. It's not taxed for dine-in. So let's go ahead and create that product. So it just keeps you from having to, it's just another way for you to create a product, but I know specifically that Baby Groot red velvet chocolate cake is only ever going to be an 8-inch cake, so I can just very quickly make it from that component level. Okay, when you're bulk adding products, it becomes really important to save time that way, and so that's just a nice little tool that we added to our lineup. Okay, let's see. Oh, here's another fun one while we're looking at templates underneath our product screen. Some of you may have seen this. Underneath your selections, which is where you'll find your flavors, frostings, and filling lists, when you look at your selections, chocolate, funfetti, marble, and edit them, you'll now see this little box here, right, which is allow name to be edited. And some of you might be asking, why would we want to do that? And it's specifically so we can add an option like this, flavored buttercream. Instead of listing every flavor of buttercream that you've ever offered in the entirety of your time at the bakery, you can now make that an editable item. This remains editable only for your staff and not for your e-commerce customers. I want to make that very clear. So this is an internal use only, right? You would never allow, I don't think, somebody to order a chocolate cake with rosewater buttercream off the internet. They would have to call and talk to somebody. And this is how you would allow them to do that upcharge for a rosewater buttercream inside a cake. Okay, in order to make sure that you get that upcharge, I know a lot of you know how this works, but we're going to go ahead and say this is a premium designation for this flavored buttercream, and underneath our price matrix, we're going to make sure that that premium price is going to include a price increase for the size of products that we have. So now when I order a medium cake and I pick that flavored buttercream, it's going to increase the price by $5 because it's a premium upgrade. Okay? Pretty cool. So allow name to be edited is going to allow you to edit that name through the product flow. Okay. Couple of other cute little things in here. A big one that people asked about as well is you can now duplicate buttercream. You can duplicate decoration lists, right? So this is going to come in really handy, especially when you're doing something like colors. Okay, so on our school colors list, here's all the colors that we have. Maybe we want to duplicate this and make it not just a school colors list, but we've got a specific, I don't know, yacht design that we want to put on some sort of sailboat. And you need those weird colored flags that they have. And you want to just take these same things and put it as those flags. So now you can take this specific design, attach it to that specific cake, and you haven't had to go through and recreate all these products and put all the same pictures in. Okay, so duplicate decoration list is definitely huge. Okay, one more thing I'll talk about very quickly, going back to our flavor list, is that you can now drag and drop the sort order for these items. So if you always want yellow and chocolate to be at the top of your flavor list, that is now there instead of it falling to a default alphanumeric sort. Okay, I would like to keep red velvet at the bottom because it's expensive and I hate making it, but I do have it as an option. Maybe they'll stop at something else before they scroll all the way to the bottom, right? So you have that availability to go ahead and edit those things there. Okay, we also started offering underneath our settings and orders as it pertains to our products and our customers is you can now enter delivery charges, right? You could always do delivery charges for wholesale and you could offer delivery charges as a product, but now you can put a delivery charge in here, out of town, for retail customers, so that when you do go through a transaction and you pick, let's put Heather, she's always a good customer. When you pick Heather as a customer in delivery, it's going to first auto-populate the address that customer has on file. You can also select any of the other addresses and manipulate this if maybe they're having it delivered to a friend, and then you can put that delivery charge right in there from the list that you have. Okay, it's just another nice, clean, quick way of adding the features that you all have asked for to our system. Okay, speaking of customers, we want to really focus not only on the bells and whistles of this episode, but what is it about things that we can do inside BakeSmart on a small level that will help with customer retention, right? So a few things that we've released quietly, we're going to talk about here. Underneath our customer list, when you pull up a retail customer, let's go ahead and look at Heather here. You will see we have a loyalty tag, okay? Underneath the loyalty tag, you'll see that this customer is an active purchaser at our bakery, and we love them so much that they have really joined our loyalty program. Okay, they're really taking advantage of the redemption here. Okay, so let's talk more about what loyalty is. It is a free feature that BakeSmart recently rolled out. You can find it under settings, loyalty, and it pretty much is a dollars spent to points earned, and you get to dictate that. Okay, not only do you get to dictate how many points are earned for dollars spent, but how many points are needed in order to get a reward, and then what is that reward? We are very generous. You get a point for every dollar that you spend, and then for every 5 points you get $5 off, which is insane, and we'll all go out of business, but you know, that's what we did. So you can also decide when that customer or your employee is prompted to join your loyalty program. So for us, we're gonna prompt loyalty at the start of an order or a sale, and then we're gonna ask them, we can also look up loyalty by a phone number or a full search, which is first name, last name, email, company name, all of that, okay? We definitely want to encourage you to try to get a phone number and definitely try to get an email address, because the email address is going to be, again, the only thing that identifies a customer as an individual, whereas a phone number can be shared across many customers, and it will create an opportunity to duplicate accounts, right? And so doing a full search looking for an email address is a great way to do that. You will also then be able to, generate your email lists for customers and start, hitting people up with loyalty. Another thing that we should always get when we're talking about loyalty for our customers, for example, if we look at this person here, is their birthday, right? So September 4th is this person's birthday. When we get this information, we can start to do things like issue additional loyalty points as a reward for being a customer of ours around their birthday to entice them to come in and get their birthday cake from us. Okay, so loyalty is pretty cool. We'll go ahead and jump into a sale online and I'll show you what loyalty looks like. Again, it's a free feature that BakeSmart rolled out. It's a one-to-one transfer of points for dollars spent, and you can make all of those settings there under settings. Okay, we also have upcoming orders, order history, and this new feature of sales, right? When you're inside the POS and you register a customer in the POS as a POS user, you can attach their POS sales to their customer account, okay? And why is this important? Well, I will show you here shortly. I'm gonna go ahead and move this screen in. Here we have our e-commerce store for Circle City Bakery and my customer account. My account. I have logged in as a customer. I am Heather, CCBC. I'm no longer looking at BakeSmart as the bakery owner operator. I'm now looking at it from the customer point of view. I've gone to Circle City Baking Company online e-commerce store and logged into my account. I can now manipulate my own first name, last name, change my phone number. Maybe the store staff heard the number wrong. Maybe they got my email address wrong. I can also go in here and change my own birth date. Okay, I do also have the opportunity to sign up for an SMS notification or our loyalty program. Okay, I can also look at our gift card terms and our loyalty program terms. Those are things that you should have your good friend lawyer ChatGPT write up for you, and just go ahead and plug in. It's underneath the settings part of your app. Okay, but a great feature about this is I can look at my upcoming orders as a customer and say, what do I have coming up? Well, for July 31st, I'm getting a single chocolate cupcake, for $3.33, which is great because I also want to reorder that for August 1st as well, because I'm just treating myself and I'm getting a single cupcake every single day for the rest of my life, So I've now just as a customer saw something that I had in the past or that I have upcoming and reordered it for the next day. Okay, it's now in my cart and it's ready to go. When I go to checkout, it's going to say, hey, by the way, loyal customer, you have all these rewards to use. I'm going to go ahead and use that reward, and it's going to say you've got a balance available because it's a $5 reward and a $3 cupcake. So I want to apply that to my reward. I now have a zero balance. And now that order is in the system for Circle City Bakery to have delivered to me. Okay, so giving your customer access to your store, making them feel like a big part of your community, offering them loyalty rewards, and then making it easy for them to self-manage their own orders is a great way to kind of just help build trust and build loyalty inside your orders, your organizations. Okay, so as a customer, I can come in here and look at all my upcoming orders. I can also look at my past orders, which is huge. I don't have any past orders. I have tons of canceled orders though. But looking at a past order or a canceled order, I can say, you know what? I did order that birthday cake for my sister. Last year she really loved it. It was a big hit. I can go ahead and pull that order up, see what it is, and then reorder that with the bakery, change the fulfillment date and time, and then I'm done. That removes decision fatigue. That removes like the needing to call the store and talk to someone because nobody wants to do that anymore. I mean, it just puts so much control in your customers' hands, and it continues to push orders through for your bakery. Okay.
Another note on that is BakeSmart will also not allow you to reorder something that has been discontinued since you fulfilled the last order. So it's smart, and it checks to make sure that the product is still currently available.
Yes, very, very true. I know for a fact that this pink cupcake is no longer in the system. So when I try to reorder this, it's going to say, hey, products in this cart are no longer available, and it's not going to let the customer reorder, which is fine because as the customer, I can read and see what I had and then go back over to Circle City, their e-commerce store, and place the order less the things are no longer available. Okay, so it's going to keep your customers from making, grievous mistakes inside the system. So, okay. All right. Some other things that we've gotten here is any quotes, right, that you've given this customer. People love to call and say, hey, how much would this be? How much would that be? All of those quotes are saved as long as that customer was quoting underneath their order, like their actual email, phone number, account. Okay, so which is pretty cool. And then another nice thing, if you're an inquiries subscriber, you can also very quickly jump to any live inquiries that you have, as well as start a new inquiry right from your customer account. Okay, so it's pretty cool. The reason why we're kind of touring this is because I think that it's important that you all see what your customers see, that so you have a better understanding of how they're interacting and engaging with BakeSmart through your store and your portal. Okay, it's also great for when they call and they're like, hey, I have questions about, you know, my current progress on my loyalty points. You know what they're talking about and can kind of guide them through the process. Okay. Pretty cool stuff here. So I can check as a customer and say, how many points am I away from getting more points, right? I have tons of points. So pretty cool stuff there. Super happy again to dive into any of this with you guys at any time. Okay. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Bulk payments and wholesale we talked about a little bit. We can now also duplicate orders for customers internally. So let's go ahead and pull up an order for Heather. We've got an upcoming order. I'm going to go ahead and reopen this order, and I can very quickly here now duplicate this order as a store staff member as well as not just through the portal. So again, I can do the same thing. If they call and say, hey, I got that cake last week, we really loved it, can you send us another one? I can go into their system, pull up their historical, right? Let's look at Adea, see if she's got anything here, which is her order history. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up right here. You really loved it. That's amazing. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. What day do you want that order for? Okay. So it's just going to be a really great way for you to kind of keep that tradition that people develop around birthdays and holidays quickly manageable by your staff and also by them. And your customers are going to be really blown away at the fact that you are able to recall exactly what it is that they ordered the last time they visited your bakery. Okay? So for the most part, that brings us to the close, almost. I actually just saw that we've got this here underneath our edit all products. This is a big one, and I apologize for going over this so quickly. Departments, which is something that not a lot of folks are using currently as far as my onboarding teams go, but it is a great tool that you can use inside BakeSmart. Okay, everybody has different departments in the bakery who are responsible for different things, different products, right? And it can almost be broken down by category. For example, if there's a bread department and they're responsible for your loaves and your rolls, you might want to assign all of these bread products, for example, to a bread department. And we're going to go down here. It's actually assigned to the bakery department. What if I've got a guy named, Ralph, and that's all Ralph does is make biscuits. So while it is a part of the bread and the bakery department, I also want to make sure that this is just in Ralph's department, right? And this is going to be important because now the bread and bakery department are going to get this product on a report, but Ralph is also going to get this product on his report. And what I mean by that is that when you run a report for your ordered items, you can filter this by department. So here we go. I've got a department called Ralph. I'm going to go ahead and run this report. We'll see if we've got anything on it. And it's going to give me a report just for the items that Ralph is responsible for doing, okay? I had a person in my bakery that's their entire job was just cutting pies and cutting cakes for my display cases. And so when I ran an order for my pies and cakes for my display cases for all of my locations, that person would get that report and they would stand there and cut all of those pies and pack them and get them ready to go across town in my trucks to get my bakeries going. Okay? So pretty cool stuff there. Again, we did go through this really quickly. I see that the chat has been blowing up. Shelly or Jared, do you want to go through any of these questions and answer them publicly for everyone in case anybody hasn't been paying attention?
Yeah, sure. Heather, we lost your screen, by the way.
Oh, I know.
We're just
I'm
seeing
sorry.
your desktop. Okay. Yeah, I mean, questions really about the spot and where it displays. Spot only displays where you enter it, which is in that list. It replaces the add spot text. If it's longer than that, you'll have to click at it to see it. And then, templates are a products V2. So if you don't see templates in your app, we can work together to get you onto products V2. And then there were some questions about the difference between a quote and an inquiry. Inquiries are a feature that is a two-way communication from your eCommerce page, right, where a customer can say, hey, I'm planning this party, can you give me a quote on this, blah, blah, blah. Actually, that's another feature. I don't know if new feature, Heather, is the search and sort in your inquiry inbox.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So if we go ahead and I'm showcasing that inquiry box here now, you do have this last message, newest message, and you can search by inquiry number, first name, last name, phone number. Yeah, so that's where that comes from.
Yep, and then quotes, if, those are orders that are put in that aren't quite finished, you can manually save any order as a quote. If you do have deposits and an order is there and there's a payment, but it hasn't met that deposit threshold, we do automatically classify that as a quote. Although, if you have proper permissions, there is a button that you can click to actually turn that into an order. So that's what we were talking about in
the chat.
In the chat.
We also had another question that came in that said, so a customer can change or cancel their own upcoming or existing order?
No.
That is incorrect. Once a customer is placed via e-commerce, it's done. They have to call the store and talk to a store staff member to update it, change it, cancel it. Okay? What the, Jared, do you have it?
Well, for retail, wholesale customers do have an opportunity to make edits to their order in the portal until the order is locked. But your retail customers, do not have that opportunity. And then additionally, Heather showed the editable flavor fill frosting name. If that an option has that checked, or that if an option has that option turned on, it does not show up in your e-com portal either. So customers don't have access to those.
Yeah. So a lot of the things that we talked about today were just ease of use for your staff and for yourself in store, and it was the loyalty bit. And when we say that is where customers can self-manage, it's repeating orders that have already been processed and taken care of, seeing their own order history, and that way they're not calling and taking one of your staffers, your counter staffers down a rabbit hole of, well, I think it was August, it could have been October, looking for the previous order that they ordered. So if they can kind of preload that information before they duplicate the order in the app itself or call the bakery to make some changes. Pretty straightforward. I also wanted to show here on my screen, we are showing that this customer is a part of the loyalty program. And I want to show you just how easy it is for your store staff members to add someone to loyalty as well. Shelly Slovey, you are now being signed up for loyalty. It's going to say, hey, this customer, ask them if they want to join the loyalty program. And this is a part of the order flow that we have. So I'm going to hit join now, and it's going to give me some confetti, and they're in. That's it. So we're not going to be asking them for any additional information outside of what we already require in order to fulfill an order. Phone number, email address, name. Okay, that's it. And that's all the information that we've got on Shelly, right? We do, I think it's important, encourage you to get a phone number or a birth date, just because that is a great way for you to start to develop out some marketing around birthdays and loyalty points and things like that. Speaking of marketing, and the one last thing I wanted to talk about, I know that we're getting a little long here, but it would not be a customer retention episode if we didn't talk about the way that you can use discounts to drive marketing. And Shelly, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that we have some bakeries that are even on this call right now that do such a fabulous job of using promo codes in their e-commerce, in their social media, email, newsletter marketing, things like that, where you can actually link directly to the product in your e-commerce store. So let's say you have, something on special coming up for National Cherry Day. Your cherry pies are on special for the 16th. Next week is National Cherry Day. You can do cherry as the promo code and blast social media with a bunch of awesome looking cherry pie pictures, link that product straight to that social media post or newsletter with the cherry promo code. Don't forget to add it for your 10% off of your cherry pie on this date only, right? And then before you know it, you got orders flying in. Yeah, you've given 10% off, but you've sold 100% more cherry pies than you would have if you didn't in that promo.
Right. the reason why we talk about this is not only for customer retention, but also because this is no longer case sensitive. So you can be a buffoon like me and type it in all caps. The customer might type it in lowercase. It will still register, so it's no longer case sensitive for the way they enter it in your e-commerce store. Okay, this is a great way, like Shelly said, just to kind of drive sales, get your customers engaged, maybe drive business to your e-commerce store to help free up your phone lines. Just a bunch of different ways that you can run through discounts and drive customer support of your bakery. So, okay. I know that we ran a little long. I'm glad to see so many questions in the chat here. We'd like to go ahead and open the floor to anybody who has questions about anything.
Yeah, Mandy had asked another question. Yeah, at this point, you cannot clear a zero balance order in e-com. They can, if they have enough loyalty rewards to do that, it will complete the order online. But a promo code or a gift card does not do that, and we will fix that.
We're going to put it on the Jared desk here. make
on
this
the
go.
Yeah.
Make this go, please. All right, folks. Well, if anybody else has any questions, you can get a hold of us, support@bakesmart.com. You have our number. You can rewatch this in a couple days. We'll post it to BakeSmart YouTube channel. There's tons of other videos up there for you to check out, including previous Mastering BakeSmart. We've got mini mastering series as well as BakeSmart Bench, which is a podcast that we started here recently. We really appreciate you all showing up, taking the time out of your day, being a part of the BakeSmart community. We really love getting you all involved, getting you more engaged in the app, and we'll see you next month. So,
Thanks,
Hey, guys.
everyone.
Have a good
see
one.
ya.